This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us at WZRD in the studio, Ayme Frye of Superfrye. Welcome, Ayme.
Thank you.
Well, Ayme, first of all, tell us a little bit about how you became involved in music and how you got your start.
Let's see. Gosh, I'm not going to go all the way back to fourth grade playing clarinet, but I did play clarinet in fourth grade. I started playing drums actually, and I was taking lessons with my sister at the old town, and then I started. How did I get into playing guitar? I mean, I just somehow picked up a guitar and I started playing flamenco. I studied flamenco at the Old Town School and then found another teacher whose name was Tomas de Utrera, and I was very into that. Um, and I continued. I was just kind of in love with music all my life. I went to see like 300 shows in high school. And then when I started playing, it was sort of like I was in awe of music, you know. So yeah, so I started with flamenco and then I moved on to blues and fell in love with that music when I heard people playing the old school blues like from the 60s and 70s and started taking lessons with a guy named Johnny Bergen. People know him as Rockin' Johnny these days. Or they did. Anyway, he might be listening, Johnny Bergen.
So, what kind of clubs did you go to? Which clubs did you go to back in the day?
Oh,
Maybe a
gosh.
couple of
Okay,
them.
so the blues clubs you're
Mhm.
thinking about?
Yeah.
Well, I went to the Smoke Daddy all the time to see my friend Johnny play. And then I went to the 5105 Club and Blues and Rosas and rarely Kingston Mines. It was mostly like those ones are like little tiny clubs on the west side, which are like the coolest place to be. You know, a lot of my repertoire, some of my covers come from like late night jukebox on the west side. So it's fun. Those are my favorite, like going to see like um somebody play like some after church gig at a little tiny place. I don't know where to find them anymore. It's hard. It's hard. But yeah, Tail Dragger was my favorite. He's no longer with us now. But,
Well, so you said that you attended about 300 shows during your high school years, right?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
are you talking about like shows, school shows, or are you talking about the club shows?
Oh,
You couldn't go to clubs. You're too young at that time, right?
well, no, I mean, yes and no, but I mean, like,
Mhm.
I loved Nick Cave and I couldn't go see him until I was 18. So I waited with bated breath. But I went to, like Metro and Aragon Ballroom and, uh, Poplar Creek and the Vic and like all those places, when I was growing up and saw The Cure and In Excess and Nick Cave and the Smiths and all those guys. So that was amazing.
Well, let's do discuss your clarinet a little bit. How did you find the clarinet, and then what made you change from clarinet to drums instead?
Ooh, that's an interesting, well, fourth grade. I brought that up only because it was my very first experience. I come from a musical family. I
Oh,
mean, my mom is a brilliant singer. My dad played clarinet.
oh.
My grandpa played violin, and all my sisters and brothers played music too. But clarinet, I think I just got steered towards it. I may have wanted to play drums, and my parents were like, a drum set in the house, no. And then I might have wanted to play, I think I wanted to play cello. And they're like, yeah, no, that thing is bigger than you. So, and then I don't know what it was. They tried to get me to play oboe, but somehow I played clarinet. So my clarinet experience doesn't have much to do with my guitar experience. I started with that. But what was cool about it is that I learned how to play notes and learned about music itself. And that helps me to this day when I'm teaching people and stuff. So
Definitely. Were you young? Was it your dad that taught you to read notes?
I was in a grade school
Uh,
program. So with I wasn't really very good though. I'm going to tell you a secret. But when I was playing clarinet, I didn't try very hard, and I was like 13th chair. Sometimes I'd be in there, and I would just be like doing, this is like on YouTube, doing this, but not really playing.
Well, now, what was the epiphany that you started really wanting to play and being mindful of the art?
Well, actually, I mean, I came back to clarinet. I'll tell you about that, but my sister and I just wanted to start a band before we knew how to play instruments. I don't know what exactly our strategy was. I think we wanted to play Careless Memories by Duran Duran.
Oh.
We didn't know how to play music. Um, the- and but yeah, it's a kind of a crazy question. There was a moment in time where I had the option of I just made a lot of money at work. I was just working too many jobs, and I had a bunch of money, and I was like, I can either buy a guitar
Mhm.
or a motorcycle. And then I fell in love with this kind of big rockabilly looking guitar in the window of Guitar Works, and I was like, I'm buying that.
Mm.
And they kept wanting me to like go and get the starter guitar and not that awesome guitar. It's a 1939 K, which I still have. And um I was like, no, no, I want that guitar. I want it. And now, even now, like everybody wants that guitar that I have. So my guitar kind of led me to music.
Mm.
And then um, and then I strangely started playing flamenco first.
And how did you start playing flamenco?
Um, yeah, well, I just started taking classes at the Old Town School of Folk Music, and I think I was so into it that somebody sent me, they're like, don't keep studying here. You should study with this guy, Tomas de Utrera, and they connected me with him, and then it's cool because I was just talking to him the other day, so we still know each other. He taught me a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess like that was my first formal training in guitar, but then
Mm.
you know what? I'm going back a little bit because you asked me my very first so very early on, like I had a friend that he was like a human jukebox, and he
Oh.
played like
Mhm.
he played like all like he just could play anything. He'd be like, play that one obscure song by the Smiths, and he'd play it. His name was Pete
Wow.
Bell. And I asked him to teach me um Quicksand by David Bowie. And he's like, sure, okay. And then I learned it on this broken guitar that he had like hit his brother over the head with or something. And there was like a hole in the side of the guitar. I had that guitar for ages before I got the other one.
Oh.
So I learned a lot of Bob Dylan from him. But at that time I was like in admiration of people that could play music, and
Mhm.
him, my friend, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this in me. I want to do this. I'm gonna not just admire people, but I want to do it myself,
Mhm.
So
Okay. And then you moved on to what after flamenco? When did the drum set in?
oh, the dramas before that, I just took like some classes at Old Town with my sister. And
Mm.
actually I had the very lucky opportunity of like it was another one of those things. I was playing drums, and then somehow I got connected with Hamid Drake,
Mhm.
and he used to come over to my house and give me lessons in hand drumming and conga and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And that was a very wonderful experience. And I'll never forget that. But I didn't really stick with drums. I don't know. I had somebody I when I was studying with Hamid Drake, I was like, I want to learn tabla. I'm gonna get some tablas, and then I'm gonna keep doing flamenco guitar. One of my friends was like, those two are gonna fight with each other like two wives. And I was like, no, they're not. Okay, so he was right. Flamenco won.
How many instruments do you play now?
You know what? I really just focus on guitar and singing. But I do have some piano in my house that I was playing around with last year when I was writing some music.
Mhm.
And it was very fun, but I'm not gonna say I'm a piano player by any stretch of the imagination.
Then when did you start writing songs?
Um, Probably in the 90s. Yeah. The late 90s. I had a band, well, mid 90s. I had a band called Johnny LaRue with my friends and my sister. And we didn't, I only knew flamenco and my friend only knew rockabilly. So we called ourselves Flamenco Billy and just started from there.
Oh.
Did you guys play out a lot? Did you guys record?
We didn't. That's an interesting question. So no, we didn't. And I didn't start recording until like 2019 or something,
Mhm.
because there's some old recordings from like Burkhart's Underground from a long time ago. But yeah, like somebody had asked me once, like, why didn't you record an album? And it was like, I never thought of it. I've been working on getting some more stuff out there. So yeah.
Mm. And so when you first recorded, what was the recording so that our listeners could look it up?
Oh my gosh. Um, there might be something on Bandcamp or SoundCloud under Superfrye. I think it's one of the earliest things I did was from the 90s at Burkhart's Underground. I think it's Taco Land with Show. I think I just put it on Bandcamp. That's what it is.
Mm.
Taco Land. I think it says with Show. And the Show is a bass player. He played with Rockin' Johnny and Johnny Bergen, and he played with me. His name is Show. Call me a brilliant bass player. So that was very fun.
And how did you come to the name of Johnny LaRue? LaRue, doesn't that mean the street in French?
Oh, yes, it does. But it is much not that fancy of a reason. There was a guy we worked with called Johnny LaRue, but I think he was named after the character possibly in Second City TV.
Mm.
Johnny LaRue, who was this guy who would John Candy, I mean, like work out by opening the refrigerator and getting food out and drinking beer and smoking while he's on an exercycle. So
Okay, that was fun. That was a fun show.
it was indeed, yeah.
And then when did you settle on the name of Superfrye? I know that your last name is Fry.
Well, there's a couple of well, a friend of mine, like, I was wearing some crazy hat and it was a nickname that my friend gave me, and he'd be like, Superfrye. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he'd call me Superfrye. And then I became a DJ, and then I became DJ Superfrye.
Mm.
And I just kind of kept going with it. But then it kind of like, it kind of came from like Superfly,
Mm. Mm.
but now people don't know the reference sometimes. And they started being like, oh, cool, it's like your little superhero version of yourself. And I'm like, that's perfect, because when you go on stage, you kind of have to transcend your regular self and become a superhero. So,
Mhm. And you have been, you wrote a lot of songs. How did you start writing songs? And then I know that you also help others write songs as well.
um, hmm, I don't know. I was just in a band and I just took something that I just thought about. It's hard to explain like how it starts, like, yeah, I kind of would start with a little, I knew I had to like start writing songs for the band. So um it's tricky. I think I just started playing my guitar and see what came out,
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I'd come up with lyrics.
Oh. Mhm.
The lyrics would kind of come out of whatever the music was informing, I guess. It's kind of strange. I used to be a writer back, or like want to be a writer, and I would write all the time, but I got really good at lying to myself. That sounds funny, but like if you're a really good writer, you can convince yourself of anything, right? I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. But with music, I can never lie. Like I can't make it up. The music tells me, and then I kind of connect with my emotions through the music, if that makes any sense at all.
It does. But then how does the music come to you? Do you have to struggle with it and make it, or do you hear the tune in your head? How does that happen?
That's a good question. It doesn't like I don't hear the tune in my head a lot. I think it's almost like the guitar. Like I kind of play around, and then the guitar is kind of I just allow the guitar to speak. And then sometimes I start singing with it, and then whatever comes out of that. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but yeah, it's not like, I come up with lyrics and then I do that. It's a very intuitive process, I guess I would say.
Mhm.
I feel like
And and then what about does the music come out of a mood? Is there something that maybe is that inspires you, something that's happening that convinces you now it's time to quiet down and write a song and listen to the music and make a song.
Yeah, I mean, I found that to be true. I did like recently last year, I did a 30-day songwriting challenge. And I have those up online. They're kind of hidden because they're very rough. Anyway, but like I would write a song every day and I set aside a certain time. But what I found from that was really interesting, it was like whatever I was feeling at the moment came out, it was like it was so therapeutic, and I should do it every day, but then you get so many songs and then you don't know how to. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many. I have to go back and rework these. But what I found most interesting was it was telling me a lot about what I was feeling. Which sometimes you just go through life, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine." But you can cry and you can be self-effacing, or you can be really proud, and in music, and it's just like this, it's just like a journal in music of what's going on.
So during your 30-day challenge, were there days you didn't want to do it? You didn't feel like you had it?
Well, I mean, I loved doing it like every day and setting my timer. I'd set my timer and be like, okay, I have 15 minutes today. Gotta do this. And I never didn't feel like doing it. It was like my special time. But sometimes I had to push through because you can't be judging yourself when you're right. You have to write a song in one day. You can't just be like, well, this song's lame, you know. Uh, you could I would just be like, okay, well, this song is kind of lame, but I'm just gonna finish it, whether it's lame or not, whether it sounds like nothing, I'm just gonna finish it. So that would happen. And I finished most of them. They're like rough drafts.
And when did you write at a certain time of day or any time during the day, as long as it was within the 24-hour period, just gauging your creative process?
Yeah, I actually set up a specific time during the day in a specific place just to get it done because I have kind of a chaotic life. So I'd be like, okay, I get up, I drink my coffee, I hang out with my cats, I eat my breakfast, and I do my guitar work, and then I would play guitar for, I'd set my timer. Like sometimes I'd only have 15 minutes, and sometimes I'd have 45, or sometimes I'd have a little more than that. So yeah, it was in the morning after my coffee, and if I had to rush off somewhere, it's like I would try to get that song done before I rushed off.
Oh. Did you keep a log of how long you worked on your songs?
I did not actually. I mean, so I did play this. I did play it a different way because some songs required more time. So I was like, it doesn't have to be 30 songs in 30 days. I'm just going to write 30 songs and however long it takes, so that I made the space for that. And some songs would take 5 days and some would take like 5 minutes. So, um, yeah, I don't have a lot, but I have a lot of lyrics written down.
Do you have any songs that actually came that you used for something else as a result?
Hmm.
Or pieces of songs?
Oh, that I ended up using for a different song?
Mhm.
Um, I don't think so. Some of the songs are slowly becoming real songs, if that makes sense. They're coming into the repertoire slowly. I wrote a song for my dad that I love. That's probably not like, I call it like my Bob Dylan style song because it's just very Bob Dylan-y.
And did you learn anything, get any new techniques from doing the 30 song challenge?
I did actually. I had a lot of fun with my Casio. Sometimes I'd be stuck and I just make this weird sound. Like I was like, you know what? I don't have to be limited to my guitar. And then so I did that Casio sometimes, and then I did this super weird thing with me singing over something. Like it was kind of the challenge was to get me like I wasn't exactly stuck, but I wanted to really be freed up, you know. And I was like, I could write anything could be a song. It could be me breathing, whatever, you know. Anyway, so it was very fun. And I did learn some new things and I did learn some more production techniques, you know, like just layering stuff, playing around. But if you're doing it, trying to do it like quickly, those things could take forever. You can't be too precious, I guess.
So what changed before and after the 30-day challenge?
Hmm. Well, I felt better. Like I'd love to do another one or just have it. My goal for doing it was to get more in the habit of just writing on a consistent basis. And it did free me up. It did me help me figure out my creative process more, and how I'm most productive. But I still I'm still stuck now because not stuck, but like I do have these ones that came from that and I want to develop them. But I do think that I feel much better. I feel freer. I feel more like, okay, I'm not stuck. I can just jump in there and write anytime I want. I just have to, you know, figure out when to sit down and do it. So,
So it is easier for you to write now to get into the mood to write.
yeah. I just realized like I don't have to be in the mood. I just have to make the space, if that makes sense, you know? It's like if I have that little window when I set my mind to it, I can.
Mhm.
I think I just after doing that, I just got overwhelmed with the idea of like, oh, now I have all these songs. I want to make them into finished songs. And then I got overwhelmed. And then my life started going like a train off the rails again, as it always is. Just,
And I would imagine that maybe this kind of story translates to all kinds of art.
oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a really important thing for people making music to know that um, it's like a job, you know. I had a friend that was just like, oh, like I played these gigs, it kind of stinks because, you know, like I don't know, people don't like me sometimes, like whatever. And then I like that's how it is. You like, you know, go to your bartending job or your like, you know, accounting job or whatever it is and be like, yay, I love being an accountant or I love sweeping the floor or I love like whatever. Not every day. And maybe a lot of days it's just like work, you know, you just gotta go and some days are good and some days are bad. And, you know, it's the same with like writing, you know, you just have to get up and go do it and then sometimes you're just like, okay, I'm just going through the motions, but you're there. So yeah,
Did it seem afterward that a 15-minute period was more productive than before?
absolutely. Absolutely. If I set my little timer, because I get distracted, you know, I'll start doing something. I'll be like, oh, I have to go do the dishes or I have to go whatever, vacuum or call somebody or whatever. But if you say the only thing I'm doing for this 15 minutes is writing this song, you know, it's like I'll be writing it and I'll be like, oh, what am I going to do next? And I'm like, how long is that? Oh, I still have 7 minutes. Oh my gosh. You know, so yes, it changes the way you look at time.
And what about did all the music during that period was your own, or did sometimes like a tune from another song inspire you to write lyrics over it?
That's interesting. So well, yeah, I was using song prompts, and one of
Ah,
the song prompts was write a song, was it like a different ending or something from, or write somebody else's song from a different perspective in the
mm,
style of, and I
mm,
did that. I love Nick Cave. I think I mentioned that, but so I did I don't know if you guys know, Wild Rose, they call me the Wild Rose. It's a Nick Cave song. It's a murder ballad. And so I wrote the murderees perspective from the murderees perspective, like
Mhm.
what they thought. Anyway,
What,
sorry.
what did the murder perspective think?
Okay, so it's her, it's about her. So like in the song, it's him kind of talking back to her, and she's like, my name is Eliza Day. I don't know why they call me the Wild Rose. This is what happened. And then it's like her ghost coming back, like what I wrote was like she comes back and she's like figuring out what happened, and she's like, what the heck, dude? Not cool. Basically she's kind of just like, you're a jerk, you killed me because I was beautiful. Well, get over it. That's lame. Boo. So anyway, that's kind of yeah, I kind of like that song. It's still sitting there in my computer.
And so when you were writing every day, they gave you different prompts.
I would just pull them out of my friend made me a calendar of prompts, and so I just open it and look at it. So I wouldn't like look at it before, so I wasn't thinking about it. It would be like every day it was like, oh cool, what's my prompt today?
Mhm.
And the freedom that came from knowing that you had freedom was really cool, because it's like you'd open it and I'd be like, what am I gonna do with this? And I was like, wait, I can do whatever I want. Like, what is it gonna be?
Mhm. And that prepared you for your work, right? You help others write songs as well.
What? I mean, I think I'm more like, are you thinking about the open mic that I ran before?
Yes.
So I'm like, when I do that kind of stuff, I was just making a space for people to present their work. And my goal with that, it was in this big, beautiful space, the old architectural artifacts building on Ravenswood. And I was so lucky that I got to do that. But my goal was to like make people feel like a star, whether it's the first time they ever take the stage, because it's terrifying. But I just want people to be like, nope, you're actually a musician. You get to be up here, and we're all going to tell you we love you, and the sound's great, and the lighting's great, and now you feel like a star. It's like, yeah, it was a really important thing for me. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore, but I'd like to do another one sometime somewhere. But
It seems as if it takes a lot out of you too to help someone that way.
exactly. I mean, well, I don't know. Like, it's not too hard for me to encourage people. I'm a teacher, guitar teacher too. So I think it's like so important when you're starting to realize that you're amazing. You might have a long way to go, but from that very first step, you're you're still a musician. You're doing it. It's like so incredible and so awesome. Like I just I mean, I think it's just so important that people see that they're special, and not think that the people up on stage that have been doing it longer are any better or any different than they just were doing it longer. And you have to get through those little moments where it's like you're scared to go on stage or whatever. And it's like, but you're not going to die. You get up there and you totally screw up. What happened? You're still alive and you did something really cool. And you're going to get up there next time and it's going to be better.
Did you take any voice lessons, or did your mom, right? Your mom was a singer, and then did she teach you how to sing?
She didn't. I sing very differently than my mom, that's for sure. Like there was one time my mom, I'll tell you about my vocal journey, but like my mom, like she was singing this beautiful song in church and her music fell off the stand or something. And she's like, I didn't know what to do. I mean, my music fell down, and I ended up just, you know, singing anyway, and it came out okay. But I was like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, how do you sing from music? I cannot read music with my voice to sing. That's like a foreign concept. But So my mom did not. I was basically Johnny one note in my family, to be honest. But I met this guy that people probably know. I went to see this guy play here in Chicago. His name was Kalan Philip Horan. And I immediately like started just with crying when I saw him play. I was like, you're amazing. I have to study with you. But I didn't know what I was even going to study with him. I had no idea. And he came back to me and he was like, I wrote him a letter. This was back in the days when you wrote letters. I don't know what I said. He's like, I'll have you be my student. And he's like, but you are going to start with clarinet. Well, actually, he's so awesome. He was like, before he agreed to teach me, he had to know my birthday and find out my chart, my astrological chart, because he was way into that and astronomy and astrology, both of them. He was just kind of a man of many talents. And anyway, he agreed to teach me based on my chart. And he started me with clarinet. He's like, I'm going to teach you voice, but you're starting with clarinet because you played that and you're going to get the music inside you. And he said that I was a little bit tone deaf, and he helped me. He gave me these exercises, and I just worked with him forever. And he was just such a huge mentor and such an important person in my life that he's not with us anymore either. But he's an amazing, amazing man. And so that's how I learned how to sing. He helped me with all those exercises that he taught me.
So in other words, playing the clarinet and learning that breathing helped you with the breathing and the voice.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, because that's what I started with, and he taught me like just ways to go about it to help my breath. And when you're playing an instrument, the notes there. I think that was what he was thinking with the clarinet, because I had problems hearing the note, and it kind of resonates throughout your body, but you're playing the note on the instrument, so the instrument has the note, and then it goes through your body. And then it gets in your head, and then you go on to voice, and you have better breath technique. And
From the diaphragm for both?
oh gosh, probably. He didn't really talk about diaphragm, but he talked about breathing and long notes and different exercises that yeah.
So you were able to learn to recognize tones better once you started playing the tones and letting the tones go through your body.
Somehow I became able to sing. It seems like magic to me, but I did a lot of work.
I guess your mentor saw that would help you, and that's how that's the technique he used to teach you.
Yeah.
Um, when he agreed to take you on and compared the astrological charts, in other words, he had to make sure that your astrological chart did not conflict with his, so that he could take you on as a student. Am I understanding correctly?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to see if I was serious or something, but he's amazing. But he said, he was like, if you are who I think you are, this is going to be very interesting. I should really be teaching you mysticism, but I don't have time for that right now. And I was like, what? Okay. I don't know what that means, Kalan, but everybody else, I think people called him Brother Phil, but I always called him Kalan because that was the first part of his name, which is an honorary title from China. But I don't really know all about it because anyway, he was Kalan to me. I loved him so much. So I don't know why he did that, but it was just his thing.
Then, as a result, over the years or later, did any of your songs revolve around mysticism?
Not really, but I feel like a lot of my songs kind of revolve around freedom and finding your truth.
Well, that's in a road of mysticism.
In a way, yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I feel like I'm still, I guess like a lot of musicians say that I'm definitely still finding who I am as a musician. It's always like the hardest thing trying to figure out or explain who you are, your style, because I like so many different things.
Mhm.
So I'm still working towards getting to what my voice is really, But I know that a lot of my songs are about freedom and being honest and finding your truth, I think.
Mhm. And what are some of those songs so that our listeners could go out and find them?
So I have an EP coming out very soon. It's probably going to be, I wish I had the exact date. I could just make one up. No, somewhere around the last week of May or the beginning of June is my
Mhm.
goal. It's all ready to go mostly for the EP, but some of them you can find on Bandcamp already, but
Mhm.
they're not the latest version. So one of them would be The Outsider, um, or Truth. I have one called Truth.
Mhm.
And they say those are very early songs that I wrote. And some of the other ones you'd be able to find are Baby Blue Eyes, but that is definitely that's just about that's just like a blues song
Mhm.
about some guy. Uh, and then the other one they'd probably be able to find is
I
Don't Count on Me. And that's more about being able to, even if people aren't to be counted on, I'm still good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm happy being alone. I'm good. I don't need anybody. We all need each other though. But I mean, you'll see if you listen to the song.
And Baby Blue Eyes, I think you have that on your website, right? I think I listened to it on your website.
Yes. And that one I got to play with one of my heroes. So there's some incredible guitar going on there. I wish I could say it was me, but it's not. It's Johnny Bergen. And he graciously agreed to play on that recording. And the other Christmas one, Christmas Tears, that's a Freddie King song. But that was like super exciting for me because he's like one of my guitar heroes. He knows this. Anyway, so that was really fun for me.
And now, do you find any aspect of your music evolving? You're putting a lot of different genres together. What does the future hold?
Oh man, I don't know. No, I mean my goal is like I've been going and I've been planning to go to the studio like every few months this year because I do have so many different styles that I work with. So I'm kind of trying to record as much as I can and then probably out a few EPs and one album, kind of different genres, and then maybe one album with like a combination of all of them on there
Yes.
soon within the next couple of years. So we'll see. Because I know I have a lot of blues and like R&B kind of feeling songs, and then I have some very country songs. So,
Mm.
put them all in a collection and then, hard.
Have you ever collaborated with people in writing songs?
Not as much as I'd like to. I wanted to do that, and it's just hard when you're trying to figure out your direction or whatever. Like it's fun. It's just hard to get people together when you're like rushing around. I think
Mhm.
I posed that idea to somebody like a couple of years ago. We're like, yeah, we're gonna work on that together.
Hard to schedule the conducive time, right?
Yes, exactly. So
Mhm. Do you think that I know that you're writing a lot about freedom now. Are you still uh are, are you still developing your voice, do you think?
my voice.
Not your voice, but your mental voice, not your singing voice, but your creative voice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that was what I wanted to do that 30-day challenge for
Mhm.
because I was like, who am I? Like, what am I doing? What feels best for me? Like what? And I should be writing every day and then it'll come out more. But like I said, I got overwhelmed and I was like, I got to develop some of these things. So yes, I'm definitely still developing my voice. So I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping to collaborate with some people, maybe some people in my band. the
Mhm.
guys that I play with have some songs they're thinking about bringing to the table. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens there.
Mhm. And if our listeners want to learn more about you and listen to more of your music, where should they go?
So I have a couple websites. One is like exclusively music, and that would be superfrye.net. And it has connections to like Bandcamp and SoundCloud. And you could also find more about me at superfrye.com. And that has more of all of the everything that I do, my radio work and my um, teaching and stuff like that. So yeah,
Mhm.
superfrye.net. Oh, and it's Superfrye with an E, Frye, like the
Mhm.
roots.
There we go.
Yes. And if people want to study with you, where are you teaching?
Oh, I teach out of my house. And if you go to the superfrye.com one, you can contact me through there or yeah, or you can email me. It's all very easy, superfrye@gmail.
Okay. Ayme Frye of Superfrye, thank you so much for joining us on WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM today.
Thank you. It was so fun.